What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers are weighing trade options. Los Angeles leaning towards packaging Pat Bev and Nunn to help bolster roster per The Athletic. Team sources told Bua that the Lakers are leaning towards the second and third option, which would entail making a smaller move to marginally upgrade the roster while retaining the possibility of following up with a larger Westbrook deal later in the season. The Purple and Gold are weighing three different trade options for after December 15th. According to The Athletic's Jovan Buha, those three options include trading Russell Westbrook and attaching draft picks to him in order to acquire a star or multiple players, packaging Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn with picks to bolster the roster, or a combination of the two deals. So this is something that I've thrown out there, and we even kind of got like part of that announcement that the Lakers were curious of this the other day. This is just a more detailed answer that the Lakers are weighing, basically either trading Pat Bev, Kendrick Nunn, trading Russell Westbrook, or trading all three and then going and getting multiple deals, which good. Luckily, Rob Pelinka has been listening and watching the channel, because this is what I've been saying to do for months, right? But on a serious note, it's just, that's the most logical scenario I see. Unless a Russ deal is on the table that makes sense, you're better off waiting, because you're going to have more options come the trade deadline. Plus, Russ has been good enough to warrant keeping him around and seeing what happens with a sort of marginal deal, right? So you take Patrick Beverley, you take Kendrick Nunn, you go make a move. Say it's the Pistons deal. You get Bojan Bogdanovic and maybe like a Sadiq Bey, or maybe you go to the Spurs and you get, Josh Richardson and Jakob Poeltl, something like that. And you go get one maybe really solid rotation guy, or two mid-tier guys that can come in, fall into the rotation, give you some production. They can't be worse than what Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn are providing, especially Pat Bev. Pat Bev is literally the worst offensive player in the league. So yes, he has his defensive moments, but he's nowhere near the defensive player that he once was to justify him getting ample minutes. For whatever reason, Darvin Ham is just in love with Pat Bev and loves starting him. I understand last night why they started Pat Bev. You're missing a bunch of players, although I would have rather him go big. But nonetheless, we got the win. That's all that matters, right? But packaging these two and then also adding in like a Damian Jones or something like that, when the 15th happens, you'd be able to do that. That can get you to around 25 to like 26 million if you added Damian Jones, where Pat Bev and Kendrick Nunn by themselves get you to like just under 22 million. Somewhere in that ballpark. So if you add another, 2.8 million or whatever it is, 2.6 million that Damian Jones is getting, then that gets you about you could probably get somebody about 26 million, right? So with that opens the door for multiple players. They also decided to waive Matt Ryan. So that's a little curious to me. Curious to see how that plays out, because, Matt Ryan, not that waiving him is a big deal, but if you're going to do like a 2-for-2 swap, why would you have to waive Matt Ryan? Or if you're going to do like a 2-for-1 swap, like let's say you traded Pat Bev and Kendrick Nunn for Bojan Bogdanovic, or like a Terry Rozier, right? You get one of those guys. Well, you didn't need to waive Matt Ryan, and now you have 13 roster spots, and now you need to fill in another roster spot. It's just something that I thought was interesting, but nonetheless, they decided to do it. I've had people say that it was because they didn't want his contract to get guaranteed, but his contract wasn't guaranteed till January 10th. So they're still a whole month and some change away before his contract even comes close to being guaranteed. So I don't think it was that. I think it's just, save themselves a little bit of money. They're getting ready to ramp up and do a deal. The Lakers, I do think, need a couple pieces. But, depending on what those pieces are, like if they were, and again, I'm not saying they will, but if they could get like a Bojan Bogdanovic and a Sadiq Bey, or they could get like a Josh Richardson and Jakob Poeltl, I think that those two players in both deals would be enough to make it interesting for the Lakers, right? And then that would really let us know how far away are we? Are we still like 3-4 guys away from being a legit contender where, you're not going to be, even if you traded Russ, you're not going to be able to get to contention? Or Are you another piece or two away to where you could take Russell Westbrook and maybe go do a deal? Maybe you're looking and going and doing like maybe a Chicago deal, right? Chicago's falling apart at the seams. Maybe they'd give up DeMar DeRozan, something like that. And, maybe you have a nice rotation now with 6-7 guys. Maybe you could get Nikola Vucevic, right? That could be pretty solid. Again, just throwing out ideas, just throwing out possibilities. Not saying any of them will happen, but I do think the best course of action personally, and it's something that I've reiterated time and time again on this channel, is that take Pat Bev, take Kendrick Nunn, do the marginal move. See what the result is. Then, if you need to, you have Russell Westbrook that you can then go and trade him with whatever other assets are left to go get, 2-3 players, because any deal is going to require multiple players in return. So if you do the Pat Bev and you do the Kendrick Nunn deal, okay, cool. Now you get back a player. But if you do the Russ deal, then you're going to get back probably 2 or 3. I also wonder if that is why they waived Matt Ryan, because maybe I hope that they have deals already lined up and worked out, or at least are in the direction of that. I hope they don't wait till December 15th and go, okay, well, let's start looking. I hope that they're already doing their due diligence, which would make sense why they waived Matt Ryan. Because if you're going to do, let's say you do a 2-for-2 deal, right? So let's say you do Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn for, let's just say Josh Richardson, Jakob Poeltl. Not saying it'll happen, but again, let's say it's just for those two, right? You do that trade. Now, that was an even swap, right? Well, now what if you took Russell Westbrook and you went and did Terry Rozier and PJ Washington? Just another example, right? Or you did, Bojan Bogdanovic and Saddiq Bey. Okay, cool, right? And then plus whatever other fillers, right? Well, now you would have, 2 or 3 roster spots you need to unload. Well, Matt Ryan's one of them. You probably throw Damian Jones another one, and now you could get to that point. That's kind of the other thinking that I'm kind of leaning towards, especially with this report. As he says, they're thinking of doing even both deals, leaning towards like Pat Bev, Kendrick Nunn, and maybe Russell Westbrook for the right deals. So if they could do something like that, then cool. I'm all for it. To make it happen. I understand now why you have to waive Matt Ryan. Hopefully it's the right deals that make us better. Because here's the thing. If they're going to end up trading all 3 of these guys, any deals that they make to go and acquire players, that's probably their roster for the next few years. Any deal that they make right now, right? If you trade Russ, let's say you trade Russ to, let's say you do the Pacers deal, right? And let's say for whatever reason the Pacers are willing to take 1 first. Again, we're just using it as an example, right? You basically get Miles Turner, Buddy Hield. You're locked in to those guys for the next several years, right? And then let's say you take Pat Bev and Kendrick Nunn and you go get Bojan Bogdanovic and Saddiq Bey, right? So now you got Bojan Bogdanovic, you got Buddy Hield, you got Miles Turner, got Saddiq Bey. They're all locked in for the next several years. So you have no salary space for the following season, which isn't a big deal. I mean, I think that would be enough talent and enough scoring and enough versatility to where you're probably one of the better teams. And hopefully next season you can kind of get vet mins to kind of fill out the rest of the roster. But, so whatever deals they make, that's probably going to be a roster for the next several years. So it has to be a spot on. It has to be something that's worth, making those moves for to put us in contention, not only this year, but for the next several years. So anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. What do you think? Are you excited? Or do you think that, yes, the Lakers do the Pat Bev, Kendrick Nunn deal, wait for the Russ deal unless you have something come along? Do you think they should just try to unload everyone right now because the sooner the better, which I do kind of understand. You get the deal done because that just gives you more time to build chemistry, build camaraderie, build towards your goal of getting those players. But it's easier to fit role players in than it is another star, especially somebody that goes from being the number 1 option to not. Role players usually know their roles, right? I'm a 3-and-D guy. My job is to play defense and knock down open threes. I am, a 3-point specialist. My job is every time I touch the ball, shoot the 3, right? It's a lot easier to fit them in than a star that comes in and is well, I've been the number 1 guy that's taken 30 shots a game, and now I have to drop that to like 18 shots a game. It's just, it's a bigger hurdle to overcome. But anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts, opinions, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. Let me know down in the comment section below.